The moment you appear weak, nothing dramatic happens. No attack, no confrontation, no warning. The world simply adjusts its behavior around you. Voices lower, invitations stop, respect becomes conditional. People begin testing what they can take, delay, or deny. Not because they are evil, because weakness is a signal, and humans are predators of opportunity. Machiavelli understood this centuries ago. Men do not respond to who you are, but to what you appear to be capable of. Once you are perceived as harmless, you become manageable. Once you are manageable, you become expendable. This is not about morality. It is about survival inside hierarchies. And if you think this isn't happening to you already, that is the first sign it is. Weakness is not what you feel. It is what you display. You were taught that weakness is internal. Fear, doubt, insecurity. That lie keeps you exposed. In reality, weakness is a signal you broadcast through behavior, posture, timing, tone, and explanation. The world does not care about your intentions. It reads signals and responds accordingly. When you hesitate, you advertise uncertainty. When you over-explain, you confess inferiority. When you seek reassurance, you announce dependency. None of this requires malice from others. Human hierarchies operate like machines. Signals go in, consequences come out. Machiavelli warned that men judge more by the eye than by the hand. Appearance is processed instantly. Once processed, it is locked. You are no longer evaluated as a peer, but as a variable, something to manage, delay, or ignore. This is why the turn is quiet. No one declares you weak. They simply begin treating you as if you are. Meetings happen without you. Promises become flexible. Respect acquires conditions. The most dangerous part is this. You often cooperate with the process. You try harder. You explain more. You become visible in your defense. Each move confirms the signal. Weakness is not punished. It is used. And until you understand that weakness is a language spoken without words, you will keep speaking it fluently, while wondering why the world keeps answering the same way. Machiavelli did not ask whether something was true. He asked whether it worked. His central law is brutal and precise. Men are governed by appearances, not reality. You can possess strength, intelligence, loyalty, or competence, but none of it matters if it is not perceived. Power does not live in the core, it lives on the surface. Most men fail here because they confuse morality with mechanics. They believe being good earns protection, being honest earns trust, being patient earns respect. Machiavelli dismantled this illusion centuries ago. He observed that men respond not to virtue, but to threat, uncertainty, and consequence. This is why appearance dominates. The human brain is a threat detection machine. It scans for confidence, restraint, unpredictability. When it senses weakness, excess emotion, over-availability, eagerness to be understood, it relaxes. Relaxation invites exploitation. Machiavelli wrote that it is safer to be feared than loved if one can be both. This was not cruelty, it was realism. Fear requires capacity, love requires permission. One preserves power, the other surrenders it. This law governs every hierarchy: workplaces, friendships, families, relationships. The man who appears calm under pressure is deferred to. The man who explains himself is audited. The man who reacts emotionally is managed. You are not punished for lacking virtue. You are repositioned for lacking leverage. Once you understand this, the world stops feeling personal. You see the system. You see why the weak are not attacked loudly, but reorganized around quietly. And you realize the danger is not being bad, it is being readable. Every hierarchy reduces men into two categories: not good and bad, not kind and cruel, prey and sovereign. Prey are visible, sovereigns are not. Prey explain themselves, sovereigns let silence speak. Prey seek alignment, sovereigns enforce gravity. The prey believes safety comes from being liked. He fills silence with justification. He corrects misunderstandings quickly, afraid of being misjudged. His behavior broadcasts availability, urgency, and emotional exposure. He does not realize he is narrating his own limits. The sovereign does the opposite. He withholds information. He does not rush to be understood. He allows others to project uncertainty onto him. This uncertainty creates distance, and distance creates caution. Machiavelli observed that men fear what they cannot predict. The sovereign weaponizes this. He is not cold for cruelty's sake. He is cold because opacity preserves leverage. Watch how the two are treated. The prey is tested. Deadlines are pushed. Respect is conditional. Requests become demands. The sovereign is consulted. Pauses are respected. His absence is felt. This is not about dominance displays. Loud men are often prey in disguise. True sovereignty is subtle. It is the refusal to reveal internal states. It is the discipline of not correcting every assumption. The most painful realization comes here. You are not hunted because you are weak. You are hunted because you announce yourself as manageable. The moment you stop feeding that announcement, the dynamic shifts. Silence changes shape. People slow down around you, because predators do not rush what might bite back. The shift never announces itself. It happens in increments small enough to deny until they are impossible to reverse. At work, it begins with delays, emails answered later, decisions made without your input. Your presence becomes optional, not because your value dropped, but because your leverage did. You showed hesitation. You filled silences. You tried to be reasonable. The hierarchy recalibrated. In relationships, the pattern is identical. Respect doesn't disappear, it is rationed. Boundaries soften. Tone changes. What was once negotiated becomes assumed. You are no longer met with resistance, but with expectation. Expectation is domination disguised as comfort. Socially, exclusion replaces confrontation. Invitations slip. Conversations happen around you. People stop adjusting their behavior in your presence. You have been categorized. This is human nature, not cruelty. Groups unconsciously reorganize around perceived strength. Neuroscience confirms it. The brain allocates resources towards those who signal stability and threat, not those who seek approval. Calm confidence activates caution. Emotional exposure invites management. Machiavelli understood this pattern before science named it. He watched courts, armies, and rulers behave the same way. Once a man appeared unable to impose consequence, others coordinated silently. That is the danger. Not attack, but alignment against you. And by the time you feel it clearly, the decision has already been made. the quiet turn is complete. When the world recalibrates around your weakness, the response is subtle, but it is irreversible if you do nothing. The sovereign does not panic. He does not argue. He retreats strategically. Withdrawal is not cowardice. It is leverage in motion. Begin by mastering silence. Respond less than expected. Speak only when necessary. Delay reactions to invitations, questions, and requests. Each pause signals control. Every immediate answer signals availability. Availability invites testing. Testing invites exploitation. Next, cultivate emotional opacity. Do not reveal disappointment, anxiety, or urgency. Mask your desires and frustrations. The more predictable your emotional state, the more manageable you become, and therefore the more expendable you appear. The goal is the opposite, to be unreadable. Control the frame, shift the conversation, redirect focus, let others fill silence while you observe. Let the hierarchy test itself against absence. By stepping back, you expose who respects, who fears, and who seizes opportunity. Finally, remember timing is power. Withdraw too early, you seem weak. Too late, and you are trapped. The sovereign waits for the perfect inflection point, the moment the world begins adjusting in his absence. Withdrawal is not retreat. It is a recalibration of gravity. And those who misread it will assume they still hold leverage, while the sovereign quietly regains it entirely. To survive hierarchies, you must disappear, but not physically. You must kill the version of yourself that is readable, explainable, predictable. The world knows only what it can categorize. Every gesture, word, and explanation broadcasts a map of your interior. To remain sovereign, that map must vanish. Begin by abandoning overexposure. Stop explaining. Stop justifying. Stop narrating your intentions. The visible self thrives on validation. It dies in silence. Each confession, each correction, each attempt to be understood reinforces the signal of manageability. Stop feeding it. Let it dissolve. Next, minimize presence. Appear only where necessary. Speak only when leverage demands it. Replace volume with weight. Your absence creates questions. Your silence creates pause. People begin to notice your scarcity, and scarcity is power. Then, reshape identity internally. Let habits, thoughts, and behaviors consolidate into an unassailable core. No one sees the process. No one knows the changes. You are no longer the person the world thinks it understands. The death of the visible self is not loss. It is armor. It is a recalibration of influence. The moment you stop being explainable, the quiet turn completes within yourself. Others are left projecting, guessing, and ultimately cautious. Sovereignty is no longer aspirational. It is enacted. The truth few grasp is brutal. Most men will remain visible, manageable, and therefore consumed. They are loud, predictable, and easily mapped. The quiet turn passes them by because they never stop broadcasting weakness, never master withdrawal, never kill the visible self. You, if you have followed this path, are different. You have learned to speak in absence, in silence, in unpredictability. You have abandoned explanation for control, emotion for opacity, presence for strategic scarcity. You are not understood, and that is your greatest advantage. But the choice is not complete. Sovereignty is a commitment, not a status. Every day, the world will test whether you are still unreadable. Curiosity will probe, relationships will demand clarity, hierarchies will seek to reassert order. One misstep, one confession, one overexposure, and the cycle begins anew. This is your final warning. The system is impartial. It does not forgive indulgence. Those who remain visible will be managed, delayed, and replaced. Those who cannot enforce gravity will bend under expectation. The few who survive, the few who remain sovereign, do so quietly. They are cautious, deliberate, and minimal. They invite neither attention nor alignment. They are the untouchables. The lesson is clear. The world does not reward the weak. It reorganizes itself around them. To exist differently, you must act differently, invisibly and relentlessly.